Hey guys, so I just wanted to share with you a real life moment that I had, a very vulnerable moment that I had. I wanted to go ahead and share that with you guys. So there was one evening. If you don't know, I have split up my work week, right? So I work half the week on my business. So 2 days out of the week, I work on my travel agency, which you might be following me along the journey of how to build a travel agency from scratch. And then the other 3 days, I work as a physical therapist assistant as my main job. And so I've been in this routine for a few weeks now, kind of where I split up my week. And just a couple of weeks ago, I had this moment where I think it was Tuesday night. So I knew that I was going to work to my full-time job or my career job the following day. And I just started bawling in the car. Like I was in the car with my husband and I just started crying, and it came like out of nowhere, right? And I was just like, what in the world? Like, why am I crying? Because I have to go back to work. And I'm going to be upfront with you guys. I don't hate my job. I actually enjoy what I do. I went to school for it, right? I obviously had a passion for it at some point. But even when I was going through the PTA program, I always knew that it was going to be an avenue for me to do more, right? It was all for me. It was all I was always positioning myself as, yes, I'm helping people, and I enjoy like sports medicine and all those type of things. But I always knew the main purpose behind it was to provide me a consistent income so that I could invest in other things, so I could build my own businesses, all of those things, right? I knew it was almost just a stepping stone for me. And so this particular night, it really hit me, and what brought me to tears was the joy that I had the past 2 days, right? So on Monday and Tuesday, just at peace, how happy I was working on my business, just feeling fulfilled in a sense. I guess that's, the best way to explain it. And then knowing that I was going back to spending my time doing something that doesn't fulfill me, right? And that it's just not a passion and it's not where I want to be spending my time, because I'm noticing I'm not showing up as the best version of myself as the physical therapist, right? Because I would rather be working on my business. I would rather be doing the other things that bring me joy, which is building my travel agency. And so it was just very like, I needed to understand kind of why I was having that moment and where those tears were coming from. And so the more I kind of dived more into those emotions and what was really going on, that's how much I want to be successful, right? That's how much I want my travel business to be successful. That's how much I want to be free, in the sense of I want to be able to work for myself. I want to be able to, and I hate to say time freedom, because I work 24/7 in my businesses. So not necessarily time freedom, but I want, location freedom. I want to be able to make my own decisions as far as when I'm working, and like what days I choose to work. Being in the medical industry, there's no days off, right? So we don't get off for Christmas and Thanksgiving and, all of those holidays. We still work, right? So I want that control inside of my life. And so that's where all those emotions was coming from. And I really had to take a step back, because as a person who I've dealt with depression in the past, I had to, really center my emotions and really talk myself through that and remind myself, this is just a temporary situation, right? So this is not like I'm going to be here for years and years to come. I'm not going to be stuck in this position, because my business will be successful and I will be able to go full time with travel or whatever entrepreneurial things I want to do. And so I really had to talk myself through, and say, okay, first let's be grateful for the ability to have such a great job. My job is very flexible. I pretty much can come and go as I please, and I'm paid, fairly well for my position. So all of those things being said, I had to talk to myself and really remind myself that this is just temporary. We're not here permanently, so we don't, I didn't want those emotions to kind of drag me down and to pull me into a place that I didn't want to be. And so all of that being said, I just really needed to, really recenter my thoughts, right? So I wanted to encourage you guys to not feel like you're stuck, right? As long as you're doing something in your business, as long as you're moving forward, I like to say, as long as you're doing one task a day to move you forward, right? Then don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't feel like that you're not making progress or you're not going to be successful. I wanted to be able to motivate you guys and let you know that you are not the only one feeling this way. and to just keep pushing forward, right? And eventually you're going to get there. And all of that being said, I finished my website yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I have so far. Okay, guys, so as promised, I wanted to show you my website. So it's basically done as the sense that I'm going to go ahead and launch it so that I can start moving on to other steps. And I kind of talked about that in my previous video. I was trying to get something up that looked professional, and then that way I could move on to other steps in the business and not, focus too much time on creating this perfect website. Because like I was saying, once you know how to build a website, you can always come back to it, add things, take things away, that type of thing. So that's why I wanted to get at least a starting point up, and then that way I can move on to other parts of the business so we can get to booking clients a lot faster. Okay, so here's the website. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. So this is the home page, right? And I didn't go too crazy with it. I try to keep everything simple. I kind of talked about that in one of my other videos. Try not to over cram your websites. Include some spacing, leave some space on the website so that it's easy to read, and easy for your people to take in, and they're not overwhelmed by so many graphics, pictures, and videos and all of those things. So I'm going to show you the home page. Now, this is our tagline, and we talked about coming up with your own tagline and things like that. And as you know, we came up with crafting your heavenly escape. Now, when I say I've already mentioned this, if you're new to this series, this is a complete series that I'm doing, building a travel agency from scratch. So if you missed some of the videos leading up to today, then you can just go back to the playlist and catch up on all the videos. And so I'll leave the link to that in the description. And then you'll also be able to click on it at the end of this video. So this is the home page. And so here I have my, what you would call a hero image or a hero video, because that's what I put. I used a video instead of an image, but you can put an image, it doesn't matter. And then I have our tagline and then just a little description about our business and who we service. Now, this button, you always want a call to action, what we call above the fold or above the scroll, if you will, either one. And that's basically when they first get on your website, the first thing that they can see. Okay, so on here, I still have to scroll a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Like I could move this up a little bit, and maybe I will. We'll see. I'll play with it to where so everything appears, all this appears before I even have to scroll. That's the idea. You want them to be able to see your call to action, to see your headline, and your hero image, all of those things before they begin to scroll or have to move the screen up. So this is the home page. And then here I've included our logo. Remember I kind of talked about make sure that you're making your logos transparent so that when you put them on your website, it doesn't have that box around it. Now that'll be useful on certain things, like maybe if you were building out a form and you needed that background behind it to show the logo. But on your website, you want to try to use your transparent logos, okay? And so this is just our homepage. I've included some of the services that we're going to offer through this agency. So that's all there on the homepage. And then this is a little bit about me, right? So that's also on the homepage so people know who they're working with, and, just feel like they could trust this brand, right? That we are actual people who they could trust. So that's the homepage, okay? And then also, I will say just a little tip is to always make sure that your buttons work properly, right? So always click your buttons after you or before you publish your site to make sure that everything is linked to what you think they are linked to, so you don't run into any issues like that, okay? And then the other page that I created on the website is what I'm calling the Alian difference, which is basically just what sets us apart from other agencies out there, right? Or why should this person work with us? That's what this page is about, right? So we're talking about kind of what makes us different, what are some of the things that we specialize in, and how we make the experience worth it as far as working with us, okay? So that's what this particular page is about. And then I would encourage you guys to do the same thing. So some of the main pages you should have on your website is your homepage, obviously, a way for people to contact you, an about you page or about your business page so they can get to know the brand and kind of understand your brand story more. Those will be the top things. And then if you're not new, so if you already have reviews and those type of things, which I would probably just pull some reviews from, my past clients and incorporate that as well. I would also have reviews on your site. as well, or maybe linking to maybe your Google reviews or something like that, something to where people can see that other people are using your services as well. Okay. And then so for us, then the reason I'm not too focused on having reviews on my particular site is because I'm focusing more on press exposure. So I want to be able to have a page that's geared toward press. So where we are featured in different magazines and articles and journals and that type of thing. That's kind of the social proof that I want to have. So that's what I'm saving that, because obviously we're just getting started. So we don't have any press. But now that the website is up, I can start to reach out to different publications and that type of thing. Okay. And then this page here is what I'm calling the Alian Journal. And it's basically, excuse me, it's basically just going to be our blog, for instance, or and where we're going to talk about different things in St. Lucia, different experiences that they can participate in, just to build anticipation, to inspire them to want to take a vacation to St. Lucia. And we'll probably include this here and there on like social media or our LinkedIn page, different things like that. So I'll be building out this as well over time. We'll probably post maybe like once a week to the journal, something like that. And then also something that I want to do, but of course I told you I'm going to keep building on this website as time goes, is a dedicated service page, right? And then a dedicated experience page also. So really going into detail, showing more pictures and descriptions on the different things that you can do in St. Lucia, the different type of accommodations you could have in St. Lucia, all of those things. I want to build that out too. But those are things that I could build as I'm still building the business. I wanted to go ahead and get the website live. So like I said, I can move to some other things. So this is what we have so far. Okay. So I feel like I got the main things as far as getting started and moving on, right? So we have the homepage. We detail kind of what our services are, and then a way for them to contact us, right? So if they hit any one of any one of the buttons on my site, it's going to take them to this page, to where we'll be able to get their contact information. And then I also included this question here. What type of experience are you seeking? And this is kind of like a pre-qualifier, if you will. I'm trying to gauge the type of person who is reaching out to us. And then I know a lot of times people will include the trip request form and all of that as their first initial of contact. And I'm not going to do that, just because this particular agency is more intimate, it's more hands-on, and more of a boutique style operation. So my goal is to get their contact information, and then we're going to reach out to them, and then just confirm their interest, and then kind of build some rapport that way. And then after we get off that call, we will send them the travel request form. And I did go ahead and make that travel request form, so I'm going to go ahead and show you that, just because why not? I told you I would show you everything that I'm making along the way. And I use Job Forms to create this. So here is Job Forms branding. And obviously once we launch, that won't be there, right? So I like to, whenever I'm signing up for these new services and platforms and different things that I'm using, I don't like to initiate the membership until we're getting closer to the actual launch, right? So instead of me having to pay for the Job Form membership right now, we're going to wait closer till we're actually getting ready to launch the business, because that's when we would need their branding gone and everything like that. So I would always recommend, even if you're starting out brand new, don't have other businesses brand on your forms, on your website. Like if you're using Squarespace or Wix or whatever the case may be, always upgrade your membership so that branding is not there, right? Because that it just doesn't look well, right? It doesn't look professional if I'm on a site or I'm going to a particular brand and then I'm being told, to create your own job form, for instance. Like, why would I need a job form? So you don't want those kind of things on your website, okay? So this is the form that I created, and this is what they'll receive after we've had a phone call with them, right? So after we've confirmed their interest in our service, and we're kind of like pre-qualifying them, if you will, then we'll let them know that we're going to send over the trip request form. And so I just included some things that we would need in order to pull a quote, right? And I'm sure you guys have seen, these type of forms, and you kind of already know what you would need. But let's just say, for instance, you're doing cruises, because I don't focus on cruises, right? All you have to do in order to build out your own forms is to sit down and see what is the process in order for you to pull quotes, right? So if you go on whatever system that you're using, to book travel, go through that system and see what information is it requesting from you. And then that's how you know, okay, that's the information that I need to ask from my potential clients because I need it in order to pull a quote, right? So obviously we want to know their name, their phone number. I like to get this information so that we can contact them easily, their email, and then the address. I like to do this because it allows me to be more accurate as far as their departing airport, right? So now sometimes people might live in one place and then maybe they want to fly to where the rest of their family is, and that's actually where they're all going to leave together to go on vacation, and that's fine. There's another box down here below where they could say which airport they want to fly out of, but I like to see where they live just to make sure everything is lining up, just kind of like an additional checklist, if you will. And then I ask them which way do they prefer to be contacted the most, and so they could select that. Like I said, they could tell me which airport they want to depart from. Obviously, we need to know the departure date and then when they would like to return. And so these are some of the other questions that I like to ask just to get an idea of what type of vacation they are looking for. So I included that. Same thing here as far as experiences, so that I would know what type of things to include when I'm putting together a proposal in order to present to them, just to make sure that everything is personalized to this individual, right? And then obviously a space where they could, tell us anything that we didn't ask before. A lot of times you need to know how many adults, how many children, and then when you're booking resorts, a lot of times you need to know the age, because that could change the price a little bit when it comes to the kids. So I have that on there. And then for this particular demographic, I am asking them, do you prefer to fly first class, business class, or economy? Because we are going for a more upscale clientele. Okay, so that's pretty much what I have here on the site. Okay, as far as the form. So I just wanted to show you guys this too because I worked on it in addition to creating the website. But that's pretty much all that I've done so far. So I have the website. Everything else that we've done so far, the business structure and all of those things is set up. We have the business banking account, all of those things. So now we're going to move towards, we're getting ready to start building relationships in St. Lucia, and speaking to vendors and really start to move towards the process of, we're getting closer to trying to prospect and bring in clients. Okay, so in the next video, what I'm going to be talking about and what I'm going to show you guys is how I'm going to run my CRM. And I already had somebody reach out to me and say that they were interested how I was going to do that, since I said I probably wouldn't be using TravelJoy since we're just focusing on one destination. I don't necessarily need their itinerary creation tools because we're just focusing on one destination, so it's not going to be as time extensive for us to have to create itineraries. So I'm going to show you guys, and I'm leaning towards Trello. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to set up my boards, everything inside of that, and how I'm going to operate that system. And I do want to get that set up before we actually start reaching out to potential clients. So that's more than likely going to be the next video. And then right after that, we're probably going to go ahead and start reaching out to different journals and things like that, trying to get our business name out there. So that's what you can look forward to in the next videos coming forward. And I hope you guys are enjoying this series. So make sure if you are not caught up that you go and click the link in the description, or you'll see it somewhere on the screen. You'll see the playlist that you can go and catch up on the videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.